Listen up! Guys, come on!
My dum-dum want to speak.
Hello viewers, and welcome to another very special episode from your one and only McElroy's Motors. And in today's video we're going to be talking about yet another dead automotive brand. A brand that lasted less than a decade and offered Japanese cars to Chevrolet dealerships. And today we're going to be talking about and getting to know Geo. Picture the scene. It is 1985. General Motors is offering a wide range of small cars to offer to the American and Canadian consumers. However, while these vehicles were very popular, selling in by the bucket loads, there was one thing that these vehicles were definitely not known for: reliability and longevity. Imported cars like this Toyota Corolla became popular in the 1970s due to the oil crisis. They offered great value for money and great gas mileage. So what did the Americans do to compromise? They bombed the Japanese!
Don't you mean they partnered up with the Japanese? I mean, after all, they did bomb the Japanese, yes, but that was during World War II. Oh yes, he is right about that. Why is he such a
Coming back to the cars from General Motors, and while they were not known for being excessively well built, they were known for one thing and one thing only: a tactic that would help a car sell in great numbers despite offering the same product.
Badge engineering.
The J-body Chevrolet Cavalier was sold not only as the Cavalier, but also the Pontiac J2000 and later the Sunbird. They also sold it as the Buick Skyhawk, Oldsmobile Forenza, and Cadillac Cimarron. The Cadillac Cimarron was supposed to take on cars like the BMW 3 Series of its era. However, I don't think any BMW consumer, let alone any American or Canadian consumer, would want to be seen dead in a rebadged, supposedly luxurious version of one of America's most popular cars. Except me, of course. I want a Cimarron in my life. The smaller Chevette was also sold as the Pontiac 1000, and by the mid-1980s, it was very much long in the tooth. And why would anyone buy the hideous Chevrolet Citation knowing it's named after a speeding ticket? You tell me, but it was also badged as the Pontiac Phoenix and Oldsmobile Omega. In the 1970s, Chrysler had partnered up with Mitsubishi, and what a great turnout this partnership turned out to be. Not only did it save Chrysler, but also offered some of the most historical vehicles, such as the Chrysler K cars and minivans, both launched in the decade we were all rickrolled. GM took this partnership scheme to a whole different level by not partnering up with one carmaker, but instead partnering up with three. They partnered up with Toyota, Suzuki, and Isuzu. And for 1985, Chevrolet launched the Spectrum, which was a rebadged Isuzu iMark, the Nova, which was a rebadged Toyota Corolla, and the Sprint, which was a rebadged Suzuki Swift. Sales were slow at first, but for 1987, GM offered turbocharged versions of the Sprint and Spectrum to hopefully compete with hot hatchbacks of its era. However, in 1988, Chrysler launched the Eagle brand, so GM thought, hey, why don't we bring our imported cars under and mark ourselves? And that's when the name Geo was devised. The Geo brand launched for 1989 and offered four vehicles for the brand. They offered the Storm, which was a replacement of the Chevy Spectrum. They offered the Metro, which replaced the Chevrolet Sprint. The Toyota Corolla-based Prism replaced the Chevrolet Nova. And new for the Geo brand was a small SUV called the Tracker, based on the Suzuki Vitara. And with a great dealership network that was bigger than any other import brand of its era, they really had something strong going on.
Just around the corner at your Chevrolet Geo dealer.
Let's start talking about Geo by talking about its entry-level car, the Metro, which was meant to compete with cars like the Hyundai Excel and Ford Festiva of its era. Using a 1-liter, 3-cylinder engine, the Metro offered up to 50 miles per gallon, which is an impressive figure even by today's standards. The only car that I can think of that beat it, in the American market at least, was the Toyota Prius C, launched 22 years after. So think of the Metro then as the Prius of its era, and it was very popular with teenagers looking to buy a brand new car for their 16th birthday. And with its low sticker price, it also made a great second car for families. Moving on up a notch, we take a look at the Geo Prism, which, like I said before, was based on the Toyota Corolla, much like the Chevrolet Nova that came before it, and it was meant to compete with cars like the Honda Civic, Ford Escort, and Nissan Sentra of its time. This car also proved very popular, especially given the fact it was the only car in the Geo lineup with a Toyota drivetrain. this car stayed in production until 2002. More on that in a second. The Geo Prism had something also kind of unique. The Toyota Corolla was available as a sedan and a wagon. Boring! But unlike the Corolla, the Prism was available as a 5-door liftback, so it offers something completely unique to the Geo brand, which set it apart from the Toyota counterpart. The compact and sporty Geostorm was the only vehicle in the Geo lineup that was actually built by Isuzu, having been based on the Isuzu Impulse, and it was meant to compete with cars like the Toyota Paseo of its time. And what made the Geostorm very interesting was its overall Camaro-like styling, which I think still looks good even today. The Geostorm was also a very sporty vehicle, but also offered a safe side, offering a driver's side airbag as standard. The Geo Tracker was Geo's most successful model, staying in production up until 2004, and it was meant to compete with cars like the Daihatsu Rocky of its time. And, like the Metro, it was built in Ingersoll, Ontario, Canada. The Prism, however, was built in an all-new factory in California. The new factory in California was known as NUMMI, and this was the collaboration between General Motors and Toyota. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Geo's history year by year and see what has changed for the brand. But let's keep one thing in mind here, it wasn't until 1991 when General Motors launched Saturn. In 1990, Geo Metro was available in 3 and 5-door hatchbacks as well as a convertible, the latter of which was actually proven to be quite rare even when new, with less than 60,000 units sold, and then for end of production in 1993. For 1991, the second year of the Metro convertible, which became a little bit more popular, Geo had dropped the Prism liftback. But Geo also replaced it with this, which was a hatchback version of the Storm, which if you ask me, kind of reminds me of a 1990s version of the Volvo 1800 ES.
Nothing changed for 1992.
The Geo Prism got redesigned for 1993, as did its kin, the Toyota Corolla, but the Metro convertible was dropped, as was the Storm. So it was definitely a happy year and a sad year for the Geo brand. In the year Toy Story was released, 1995, Geo had completely redesigned the Metro, offering dual airbags as standard and making it the cheapest car you can buy with dual airbags. However, what this advertisement did not tell you is the fact that the Geo Metro was available for the first time as a 4-door sedan.
Metro. Doesn't cost a lot, and it comes with a lot of great stuff.
For 1996, Geo had finally launched a 4-door version of the Tracker, which is very, very bizarre given the fact that their counterpart Suzuki had a 4-door version of the Vitara known as the Sidekick for the last 5 model years. This in turn started marking the end of the Geo brand because nothing really else has changed for 1996, and the brand completely faded away into the history books for 1997. However, the Geo brand wasn't completely dead because the Prism got redesigned for 1998 under the Chevrolet mark, and what also stayed around was the Metro and Tracker. When the Chevrolet Prism died in 2002, it was replaced for 2003 by this. This is the Pontiac Vibe, which was also sold in North America as the Toyota Matrix. The Pontiac Vibe was also built at the NUMMI factory, and when the factory closed completely in 2010, it was bought up by Tesla to produce cars there. In 2004, GM had finally ended production of Geo's longest production vehicle, the Tracker, and replaced it by this, which is still in production today. This is the Equinox, which was also sold as the Pontiac Torrent. So why did Geo fold up after lasting less than a decade? Well, I think it was partially due to unfamiliarity with the brand, similar to how Eagle folded up after lasting just over a decade. However, unlike Eagle, I don't think Geo has a right spot to come back into the modern world. I think it is stuck way into the 90s, to the point it is just like an old bad habit. Sometimes things are meant to be broken, and Geo is definitely one of them. However, if it could come back, I think it would specialize in electric vehicles. I also blame General Motors itself for being stuck in their ways when it comes to Geo's demise, because in 2004, not only did they kill off the Tracker, but also they killed off the Oldsmobile brand, which was around since 1897. But additionally, these are just my opinions. Whether they are relevant or not is totally up to my viewers' feedback. And speaking of feedback, I would like to see your feedback about what you would do with a dead automotive brand such as Geo or indeed Eagle if you had the opportunity to take it over. But if you like this video, feel free to like, share, as well as subscribe to McElroy's Motors, and I'll have more videos like this of dead brands coming along soon.